Hello, hello. My name is Deborah Fuller Fleetwood. I want to tell you a story about myself. I grew up, my father, he was deaf, and also my father's sister was deaf, also. And they grew up in, I don't know if they were born deaf or hearing, but they never shared anything about that with me. They went to the American School for the Deaf, and my father and mother met at the American School for the Deaf. They got married, they moved to New Jersey, and look at me, I was born and I'm deaf. So we moved to New Jersey, and I got involved with many activities, cheerleading, basketball, ice skating. I was involved with many things. I was president of the girls club. I was involved in many different clubs. I graduated. I met my husband from Texas, and my daughter was born, and she's deaf as well. And we moved to Massachusetts. Then later, my son, he was born hearing. All the family deaf, and my son, and he's the only one that's deaf. He interprets for us though at times. Not for audience or anything, but as he was growing up, he would interpret for me, and he was happy to do it. Now he's grown. And he works now with Electric for Worcester. So for a few years, he worked there. They changed their name from AT&T. There's about 25 deaf there. I'm sorry, the interpreter's error. She worked there. So they didn't have an interpreter or a meeting or anything. They had to teach them sign. And, I had to teach a friend of mine sign, and they became my best friend. And so I would look, and I would be the last person to know different things. And then finally, I was telling them I want to interpret. I want an interpreter. It was like a process. And they finally, AT&T decided to, have an interpreter. They encouraged me to move up to higher levels, but it was good to work with, hearing management, just different people, different groups in management. And I really enjoyed working with the different groups, I was involved with New Jersey Black Deaf Advocate. I was an aide. I was the president. And I really supported the group a lot, the Black Deaf Advocacy. So I got involved with the Black Deaf Advocacy, the National Black Deaf Advocacy, and we would travel from different states to Philadelphia, Ohio, just different space. And me, I just, was from New Jersey, and it was just different places. Now I'm involved in New Jersey BDA. I do counseling. I'm the vice president for New Jersey VBA. I would support for deaf rights, for them, for people who require an interpreter, for people who need more involvement, just different things, for Spanish, for whatever, different things. I did that. And my son, he grew up, as a coder. So I told him, why don't you become an interpreter? You're very good, signer. He said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to interpret. I said, why? I said, do you know, as a coder, you could be a part of meetings, and I would have him a part of meetings, and he would say, no, no, no. And so my friend, and him will go together. And we went together, and we were on a trip, and he became very angry. And it was, so we would fly there and back and forth. Okay, I got lost. So one week he would come back and he would love me. He would say, thank you, thank you, thank you. I learned so much by staying with her and sharing with all, the people whose parents that are coders. And then we would travel. He learned about deaf culture, different families, not just his family. Now he likes it, and he's willing, to be a part. I support him now, to know more about deaf culture, the role of an interpreter. So I'm happy for him now that finally he's becoming an interpreter. So last Friday, he graduated from Gallaudet, and it's just so wonderful. And now myself, I'm working at AT&T for 33 years. I'm about to retire. I'm retired. And so I'm with my mother. I travel. I travel around different states, to Puerto Rico, just meet different people, different states. I enjoy working with people and chatting and talking and, seeing their faces. I love, being with people. I still work in OVR, I think. I'm involved with, the cafeteria house, different committees I encourage, for future committees for deaf and hard of hearing to be involved. So now that I'm president, I'm involved with the work, about rights and deaf culture rights and must have, what deaf must have, ASL, and appreciating ASL. Every day you learn something new. You're learning every single day. My daughter, she's involved. I pull her along and say, come on, get involved. She go different places with me. My daughter still works for a company for the prisons. So she's a CO. She has a few children. She has a 6-year-old, 14-year-old whose birthday is the same as mine. And she has another one. That's another daughter that's 4 months old. She is so sweet, so cute. And now I've been married. My husband, he's retired also. His name, I missed his name. And he travels as well. So he supports me. He's involved with different things, with different workshops and things that I go to. He supports me. And he learns a lot as well. it's good to learn about education and things. Now today, I come here to support, to support, to support, to support. And my experience at AT&T with an interpreter where I had none, no VP, no nothing. The interpreter meeting, I said it's required by law to have an interpreter. And they had to go through different people. And AT&T will provide an interpreter. It was important to have an interpreter to share all the information, to hear about all the hearing stories, and having an interpreter there was wonderful. Mostly a different. And many of them, the interpreters became my friends, so it was like wonderful. So now I have a different job. I had a different job. I was training. I was doing one-on-one. I would bring the interpreter with me. My boss was very, appreciative, saying I was doing a wonderful job, because I had the interpreter with me. I was able to share different things. It was wonderful. My experience with many, many, many deaf. It was like a family, the deaf worked together. It was like a family. My boss and all, they all loved the deaf people. They said they were good workers. They were focused. They weren't talking and gossiping like the hearing people. They were focused on their work. You have to remind them to do their work. And so they were getting promoted up into higher levels because they were very professional in their work. And their supervisor, I became a supervisor. It was easy. It was simple, All of them were able to use the phone, for calls and things like that. I enjoyed my supervisor. I had various lists and lists and lists, but I enjoyed it. So I suggest to you must know, if you become an interpreter, you must, engage and sit and share with hearing. As a hearing interpreter, it's important to get information as a person to share with the deaf, so the deaf will know what's going on, the conversation and the information, so it can go all around. And without an interpreter, you become stuck. You got to write back and forth. It's, the message can be misconstrued. The grammar can be, a problem. So the hearing people think, or the deaf people think I can't. But it's true, you can. With an interpreter's help and support, you can. Really, I enjoyed that. If I go to the hospital with my mother, there's an interpreter there. If you get sick, you don't write back and forth and change and change and change.